Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Mancunian way. Manchester City are back on the trophy hunt again after a 2-0 win at home to Chelsea. And tonight we've got Pat back in from the early birds. We've dragged him up early in the morning again to come and join us. So big thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on again.
No, anytime. So, we'll get some hellos done, and then we'll go through our normal post-match routine. By the way, give us thoughts on the new graphics. You'll notice we're changing graphics all the time. We're trying to update and everything going on. There's going to be some new thumbnails as well going out in the not too distant future. Let's get into some of your hellos, and hopefully even Carl might be joining us in a bit as well. We'll find out. I was there. Hope you enjoyed it, mate. Where was you sat? Like the stream, people? Yes, says FIFA. If you're here, be sure to like the stream, share the stream, and subscribe. Yeah, the light show was good. Yeah, I thought it was a bit corny today, especially with the blue moon inflatable in the middle of the. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it tonight, I'll be honest with you. Last message for a go. I can't stay. Don't worry. You go to bed early and get ready for college, mate. Alan's on. Good game of football. Could have been 4-4 thanks to Ortega. We won. Well, it wasn't just Ortega. Which will go. Grealish is getting so unlucky at the moment. Does everything right. I can't see him score. I'm going to go on to a certain Jack Grealish. Don't you worry, because tonight is redemption for Martin Time. I have literally backed this fella, and tonight he did me proud. Evening all, great win. Ortega, Grealish, very good tonight. They were. Alec, hope you well, mate. Jack was excellent. Rodri looked shattered. Mahrez was excellent. I agree with two of those. Mahrez was what? I'm just going to wait. People need to lay off Grealish. He's trying his best. I don't know who's even popping at Grealish at the moment, because I don't think they can after tonight. Well, no, they will, because they'll say we want that all the time. Alvarez again. Alvarez was excellent today as well. Good finish as well. Johnny on the spot. Got to be there. Whether they're open nets or not, you've just got to be there. And that's what we've been lacking as well, by the way. A killer in the box. Hey, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Sean is with us. Money Duck. Evening, folks. Great night of results. Yeah. There's no London clubs left, and I'm sure Pat will have an opinion on that. No London clubs left in the Carabao. 1:29 a.m. Is it? No, it's not 1:29 a.m. What?
I think that's a typo, mate. I think you meant to say 10:29.
I was going to say I don't think Alan's learned to tell the time yet, Pat.
Yeah. Well, what is there to learn from Alan himself?
Hi, team. Hi, team. Some amazing.
Hey, team.
One of the best performances. Did you finally fall in love with the Cars? Mate, I've always been in love with the Cars. So, Pat, we're through. City tearing Cockneys apart again was the song riveting around the Etihad Stadium with the 3,000 Chelsea fans that were there, up in the gods in the third tier with a South stand. I'll go through the teams, Pat, first, as we do, and then I'll let you give your thoughts on the lineups as well. So Manchester City were all changed again, basically right back to the Seville lineup from last week, if anyone remembers this time last week. Ortega went into net, and trust me, we're going to talk about him. Rico Lewis, maybe not so much tonight. Ruben Diaz, Emerick Laporte, and Sergio Gomez. Rodri, Gundogan, Riyad Mahrez, Cole Palmer, and Jack Grealish, and Julian Alvarez was up top. Now, the bench was superstar heaven. Calvin Phillips, lovely to see that guy back. Johnny Stones, Nathan Ake, Erling Braut Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Akanji, Edison, and Phil. I don't know what the hell I've done wrong at the moment. Phil Foden. Something else I'm going to get into at some part in the stream, because I want to find out about what the hell has Phil Foden done wrong. If anyone, and then the Chelsea team lined up with Mendy in goal, Shalaba, Koulibaly, Cucurella, who was goddamn awful, 60 million quid. No, thank you. Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, Zakaria, Hall, who was probably one of their most impressive players tonight, Ziyech, Broja, and Pulisic. On the bench for Chelsea was Thiago Silva, Aubameyang, Martinelli, Sterling, Mount, Gallagher, Aspilicueta, Havertz, and Hutchinson, and the referee was Simon Cooper. So, Pat, after all that, give us your thoughts on the team, mate. What did you think when you saw it?
Very similar lineup, very similar setup to what we had against Sevilla. In terms of marking, in terms of grades, I would probably call it our B+ lineup, given the fact that obviously our fullbacks are a combination of young and inexperienced and also technically playing a little bit out of position, referring to Sergio Gomez. But I like the fact that Pep gave Cole Palmer a second chance to play in midfield. Certainly also giving Mahrez a chance to obviously try and, give him a bit more of a confidence boost and play a bit more game time. Certainly rewarded him with that free kick as well, albeit, I kind of blame Chelsea for that, for obviously not putting a taller log behind their wall, basically. But look, I was happy with that lineup, given obviously Cancelo had to play out his one-match ban, which was okay. As the game progressed, we certainly a couple of hours, Alan, piss off. Yeah, look, I was really happy with the way that we started the game. I've had a lot of confidence. Like the first bit of confidence that gave me in the game was the way that play where Alvarez really hounded Mendy and forced a deflection that forced a goal kick too. And I just thought, yeah, the guys are up for this game today. It didn't feel like there was as much. There was a bit more of an increased tempo compared to what there was against Sevilla. And yeah, it just even going into the halftime goalless, I just felt confident that we could make something of it. And and of course that confidence just grew and grew and grew with Stefan Ortega between the sticks as well too. I mean, that man, Germany is now famous for two walls. Basically, that's all I can say about the man. I think he was absolutely brilliant. And if there's anybody out there who feels that, I had a thought about this when I was on the train on the way back home. It's like, I think Brazil are my favourites to the World Cup, which means we're going to see Edison probably not back until possibly the new year, if they do progress that far in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the chat, anybody out there that has absolute confidence that Ortega can certainly step in for a handful of games before he's ready to play again for City come December, January? I really do. He looks so solid.
I have more faith than Zach Steffen, I'll tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll go through it. Regards Cole Palmer. It's a hard one because I've heard him take a lot of stick tonight. Again.
Yeah. It was a better performance, but we know he can do a lot better.
I thought he did okay, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And you know what I liked about him tonight? Is I think everyone was expecting flair out of the kid. But do you know what I noticed tonight? I sat there watching it and I thought, he's doing the dirty stuff and no one's noticing it.
Yeah, it was a gritty performance.
How many times did he go and win the ball back?
Yep. And he seemed a lot more confident too, because he was providing a bit more of an overlap for Mahrez. Because I mean, that Lewis Hall, who looks like a really good young prospect for Chelsea, he was giving Rico Lewis a lot of headaches.
Yeah, I've got to say, I think Cole Palmer was absolutely sensational tonight? No. But he's in the midfield. He's not a midfielder. He's not a central midfielder. Listen, I know what Pep's trying to do, but to me, when you try and keep playing players out of position, you can't expect them to perform at their absolute best. And the problem is, especially with a kid, it's like bringing Phil Foden in and banging him at left wing when he first come into the team. He'd look out of place. I genuinely liked what he did tonight off the ball. I loved his running. I loved that he literally tackled anything that moved tonight. Did it always come off? No. But I don't mind that out of a young lad coming out the EDS. Fans seem to have a bit more forgiveness from someone out the EDS to do that.
Yep.
than what they might. And this is back to my issue with Gomez a little bit. Not because I know he's a young lad, but he's not out of our EDS. This lad has been around. He was he got voted like Spain's under-20, under-19s player of the tournament, didn't he? In one of them. Was it the under-20s, under-19s tournament he was in?
Yeah.
And now, fair play, wasn't playing.
We played against Phil Foden in the under-17 World Cup, which they won.
Yeah, he wasn't a left back.
No.
And I still don't think Sergio Gomez is a left back.
No.
I really don't. I don't see him as a left back. Left wing, yeah, all day long could see him there. Left back, no. He doesn't have it defensively. I'm sorry. Go back to that first chance that, I mean, let's get into it. The first half. That could have been 3-3. That could have been 4-4.
Yeah.
That could have been 5-5.
Yep. It had the makings of a basketball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know what bugged me a little bit tonight? And I'm going to start a little bit not negative, but I'm going to end. There's so many positives tonight. But what I enjoyed tonight, it was an open game of football. And I liked that. I didn't like the fact Chelsea ran through our midfield too easily on 2 or 3 occasions. But I'm glad Calvin Phillips is now back because Rodri looked very leggy tonight. Mm-hmm. Very leggy. And he looked a yard or 2 off. And I don't, not because I think, I'm not going down the road of Rodri's crap because I don't think he is. He ain't no Plodrid. Rodri is world class. But the guys had no rest all season. No rest all season.
When you see him lunging for a few passes there, you could tell he was getting a bit leggy. Yeah. And
do you know what? The reason I'm probably calling out Gomez a little bit here, because if you go back to was it Pulisic who had that chance that Ortega saved?
Yeah.
Was it Pulisic? It was the other end of the ground.
Yeah, one where we cut in from the left side. Yeah. Yeah.
The ball switches play and Gomez completely loses his man. Yeah. Gomez is nowhere near the guy. And I can't remember who it was who crossed it in, whether it was Cucurella or whoever it was, and my word, he should not have got that ball in. The ball just went in far too easily.
Yeah.
And for me, that's where Gomez has to learn, but he is a young lad. But to me, I always will look at Gomez as a winger. I don't want to see him as a left back, sadly. I don't think defensively he has it at the moment. No. That's just my opinion anyway. One thing I will say tonight, first half, how do you think we started the first 15 minutes? Because I think that is the most up-tempo we've ever started in the first 15 minutes for a long time. I thought we were up for it in the first 15 minutes.
Yep. No, I do. The slowest thing that came out of that first 15 minutes was our shooting, and that was only because pretty much 80% of the shots we had were deflected. Were deflected shots that Mendy was just able to just pluck out of the air. That was it. But besides that, the tempo of the match, the way we played from out the back was absolutely fantastic. Gomez and Grealish had a decent overlap too. But I think too, the tempo of the game also allowed a lot more space. And we said this before about Grealish. I don't know if I'm getting the conversation started early about Grealish yet, but when we go back to the 6-3, the derby, I said he had a great game because he was able to make space, or United gave him a lot of space. Because that game did open up and we did play with quite an open tempo in that first 15 minutes, it gave Grealish that freedom to be able to move on with the game and progress forward and be such such a presence in the midfield and attacking and going forward. And I think the only thing that was missing from his stat sheet tonight was a goal contribution. That was it. He was sort of like the linchpin in basically. He was basically the linchpin in basically that first 15 minutes set the tone for what we were going to play for the rest of the game, or the manner in which we played for the rest of the game.
Adi, where's that? Are you saying Phillips is injured now? Or he has been injured, did you mean? Just clarify that for us. Yeah. And that's my point. I don't think he's a fullback. I think he should be a winger if you're going to play him as a winger, personally. Listen, Jack Grealish tonight. how do I put this in a way that Jack Grealish just took a lot of stick from players, from former players, Graham Souness, and a lot of the Manchester City fan base. And for me, I've been one of his biggest defenders. I've sometimes defended him when probably I shouldn't. If I'm totally honest, I've probably defended him when he's had a bit of a mare. And I've still gone, no, I'm backing him. Tonight, I loved everything he did from the get-go. Tonight, he you know when you can see a player with a bit between his teeth of, I've got so many points to prove here. And he proved them for me. And do you know what I liked as well? He was more central. You look every time he went with the ball, he went into a central area.
Yep.
Where did he play for Villa?
Central.
It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
It's not rocket. It really isn't. I'm sorry, but it's not.
He spent a lot more time centrally than he did on the left.
Yeah, it's not rocket science, this. Play a player in his position and bang, he performs.
I mean, he had an attempt outside the 18-yard box. I can't remember seeing him do that in a blue shirt yet.
Didn't he do that about 3 times tonight? Because he had.
Yeah, I do remember one that he pulled. He did, but it was deflected away for a corner or something. But yeah, I do remember he pulled the trigger at least 2 or 3 times from outside the 18-yard box. It's like, just have a go more, mate. Have a go.
And he
got it in you to score a goal like that, so do it.
He absolutely did. And to me, I've always said he's not a winger. The guy's not a winger. He's listen, at Villa, he was kind of on the wing, but sort of cut in. But he also had a free role at Villa.
Yeah.
It wasn't you're a winger, stay out on the wing and don't move. When he plays wing for Manchester City, he tends to, that's the first time I've seen him come inside. Ever. He's always left wing, cuts into traffic, and that's it. Tonight, he's floating into the midfield a lot. Gomez was doing all the running down the wing for him. He's coming inside, giving and going. Like you said, that shot in the first half, that was a whisker wide of Mendy's right-hand side. He could have had 2 goals in the second half, thanks to Mendy's 2.
He had that fantastic run, I think, that was blocked by Koulibaly.
Yeah.
In the second, I was begging for that to go in.
That was right in front of me.
Or for him to have a shot, yeah.
That was bang in front of me when Koulibaly did that.
Yeah.
I was literally sat on the edge at that, where that corner flag was. I was just 4 rows up from that. And I'm telling you what, the minute he went, Grealish ran with the ball and Koulibaly just went bang. And he didn't know what to do. They couldn't stop the guy.
No.
He was out. But that's what Grealish does. Just play him in his damn position. It's not hard. He's not a left winger. Just going to bring Carl in, and then we can, because Carl wants to talk about Alvarez. Good evening, Carl. How are you?
Good evening, my friend.
I'm just waxing lyrical about a certain Jack Grealish at the moment.
Oh, he was magnificent. Jack was magnificent. He was the Jack I saw today is a Jack I've been dreaming about since the day he signed for us. It's a Jack that I've wanted, I've hoped for, that I've prayed for. It's a level at which I've talked to you about and about, and anything below that is why I've been frustrated, because I know this Jack exists. When Jack is on form like that, no one touches him. No one touches him. We just need more of that, Jack. He was magnificent.
He needs to be more inside. I've told you that before, Carl. He's not a winger. I
agree with you. I agree. I agree with you, Martin. I agree with the goal that Julian scores comes from Jack being inside. Right? Because Jack gets the ball, gives it to Alvarez. Alvarez switches the play to Mahrez. Mahrez takes a shot. Alvarez is there to finish the goal. But it starts again, like at West Ham, with Grealish dropping deep to receive the ball from the defense and pass it on to the striker. He was exceptional. He was exceptional. 10 over 10 performance. Right?
I thought there was a few. I think Alvarez was quality. I think Ortega was quality. By the way, I'm going to talk about Ortega in a minute to Patton. when we now give Ortega praise, don't want to see in the comments, but Edison's number one. I agree. Edison's number one.
For the way we play.
Yes.
You gotta give the devil his due.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 positives out of tonight, Ortega wise.
Yeah.
You now have a class backup.
Yeah.
And I mean a class backup. For me, Zach Steffen was okay, but you always have that feeling of doubts, that little bit of not sure. With Ortega, the guy was commanding everything. That save in the first half from the Pulisic one, and then there was others as well. I felt confident when Chelsea were having shots. Because don't get me wrong, Chelsea were having chances in that game. Like I said earlier, said to Pat Cow, that if I'd have said to you, you watched that game and I went, this is going to win 2-2 at half time, no one would have said, no, it's not. You would have gone, you know what, this could. Because it was like Pat said earlier, it was a basketball game in the first half. It was, right, here we go. And I thought it made a great spectacle, to be totally honest. And I think it helped our team selection as well, if I'm totally honest. But the second point with Ortega is, Ozzy said it about a week, 10 days ago. Edison's never had any competition where he needs to go, right, I've got to perform week in, week out because I've got a guy behind me here who wants my spot. So Edison's going to go, right, okay, thanks very much. I'll up my game now. Here we go. And we've now got 2 competitive goalkeepers, one who is world class and one who has come from the Bundesliga, has learned and knows exactly what he's doing. So to me, it's all positive. It's all positive.
You're saying, Martin, you were saying class backup, and I think, yeah, I agree with you in that sense of, because you can say those words, you can use class and for a backup keeper is, I'm sure most people in the City universe, especially majority of the guys in the chat, and I think all 3 of us would suggest that when you say he's a class backup, it means if he has to jump in for a handful of games because Edison goes down with an injury, we're all fine with that.
There isn't a drop off.
No, there's no drop off whatsoever. Perfect, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it I know what you're saying, Pat.
If anything, I'd have a lot more confidence in him saving a penalty as well.
Well, I think if that, God forbid, didn't happen to Edison, we gain something and we lose just a little bit. We gain the fact that I think he's a better shot stopper than Edison is, clearly.
Yep.
But the distribution, Edison is still ahead of him, so we lose a bit of that. But he compensates with his shot stopping and his short distribution, which is really good. He's top class. His short passing, decision making, is short, is top class. Edison can go long.
The only thing that pisses me off in a minute, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow night on one of the main topic of the show about fans' attitudes, is Ortega had an absolute amazing performance and everyone jumps onto it, get him in ahead of Edison.
I can't understand.
That's the bit I don't get.
It pisses me off.
Going, why can't we just praise Ortega? Why have we got
exactly
to put Edison on the bench and get this?
I mean,
like, those people that say that though will never understand Pep's style of play.
Yeah,
simple as that. They will never understand it. That the reason you have him in there is yes, okay, he's not as the quality of a shot stopper of the makings of what a traditional keeper is. You lose that a little bit on Edison, but in terms of distribution from out the back, someone who can poke long balls onto a pacey wingers and pacey forwards. That's exactly why you have him in there. That's why we forked out 30 million at the time for him.
Absolutely.
Because he offers so much more than a standard keeper. You know,
Matt? Someone said it on a space here. I think we forget how old Edison was when he come in. And not only that, we forget what we've done in his first season. We hit Centurions.
Yep.
He's won Golden Glove after Golden Glove. And I think we take Edison for granted. And I keep saying, no Edison, no Pep ball.
I agree.
And people don't. But instead of celebrating the fact we've got another goalkeeper who can come in and we don't have a drop-off so much, we've got to jump straight to Ortega's class, get Edison.
It's these kids, man. These Twitter kids, man, who just it's always one or the other. It's always, Edison's not good
It's
enough.
it? We say to Z, as I like to say. It
It's
basically means we go from the best to that. It's like, come on.
we're blessed, Martin and Patrick, to have these two keepers, man. We are absolutely blessed. Think about that. Absolutely blessed to have quality in not just in goalkeeping, in the defense too. We saw Laporte and Diaz today, Ake and what's his name, Stones and Akanji on the bench. I mean, think about that.
What a bench.
By the way, who watched it? Someone tell me in the comments, because I know Carl and Pat won't have had this. Was the cost of the bench mentioned tonight? Please, someone tell me. They watched it on Sky tonight.
I watched it on
Please tell me
ESPN.
that they mentioned it, because I bet Andy Hinchcliffe mentioned it.
We had BN Sports, so I don't remember hearing anything. I do remember the commentator making one cock up saying when Ake came on, they said, City making their first substitution. I was like, okay, so we're allowed 7 today. That's all right.
Yeah, we had ESPN, and they didn't mention the cost of the bench. They didn't.
I'm just, because it was Andy Hinchcliffe, and here, Alec Johnson, yes, Andy Hinchcliffe did. I've never met a former Manchester City player be so negative on the football club. I've never known it. This is a guy.
Maybe Danny Mills, but that's about it.
In the 5-1 derby in 1989. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. And it irks me when I hear former players doing it. I don't mind Danny Mills. Danny Mills was crap. I don't mind Danny Mills. Let him say whatever he wants. He scored a worldie against Everton. Great, well done. You were crap. But Andy Hinchcliffe, I don't get it. It's like Paul Dickoff going getting a gobby get. No, I don't get it. Anyway, let's come off that. Listen, it was 0-0 at half time. Probably not for me was probably what the game showed. I thought it wasn't a 0-0 game, really. Like I said, it could have ended 2-2, 3-3, 4-4. And like I said earlier, Carl, I did mention earlier, I thought Chelsea, the only thing that bothered me first half, I thought Chelsea drove through our midfield far too easily. But I put that down to, I thought Roderick was knackered. Knackered. I was so pleased to get Calvin Phillips on and get him off. So pleased. And not because he's crap, but because Rodri just needs a damn rest. Let him have a bloody rest. All right, let him have a rest.
Was Rodri's performance today, Martin, enough for you to say Calvin Phillips should start against Brentford?
If Phillips's fitness allows, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not me negative.
So in that case, could you see possibly if Pep's able to give Roger a rest for this game, and I would like to see that given the way he did play against Chelsea today, would you be comfortable with starting Phillips, or would you be more inclined to see a similar setup in the number 6 role, like Gundogan, for example, like what he did in the derby, and then Phillips could come on for the last.
I'll let you answer that, Carl. I'll let you go.
I mean, I think because it's the last game before the World Cup, it changes things just a little bit.
Yep.
But, I mean, I would start Rodri, give him 65, 60, and then bring on and tell him to go play 60, go flat out, right? Do what you can, right? Burn yourself out for 60, and then bring Calvin on for the rest of the 30. That way you don't drop off the energy levels in the midfield that we have.
Yep.
You know, it's
I just can't see after today. I just can't see Rodri playing a full 90.
I agree with you.
I could see him staying on the pitch for a full 90, but I couldn't see him performing it for a full 90.
No.
Yeah.
He's played too many games.
Yeah.
Do you know when you can see a player? You know when you drive your car and that light comes on to say get to the petrol station or get to the gas station. Rodri's there. Rodri's at that level now. The lights just come on, and we need to get him out for the rest.
Which, Martin, that could be interesting if Spain let's say they get to their third group stage game or even to the round of 16. Could be interesting to see what how Rodri's playing then
Yeah.
too, because that
Anyway.
might be catching up with him, and especially with the heat over there, probably playing every match over 40 degrees
Good
Celsius.
point. Let's get to the
It might even
second
catch
half.
up even faster than the third group stage or the knockouts.
You know the biggest shock for me tonight? Pep made a sub in the 48th minute, 49th minute. What was that about? 2 subs appeared.
And no one was injured.
I know what I mean is that you don't normally make a sub 4 minutes after half time. You normally give it 10 or 15. 4 minutes after half time. What was that about? Were they not ready to come in at half time? Is that what I don't know what that was. That was a weird one for me. Don't know about you, Carl or Pat, but don't normally bring 2 players on after 4 minutes of the second half in your role.
Yeah,
It didn't feel like it was that early, but maybe I was just getting ahead of myself. Maybe I thought, it's 60 minutes already.
No, it was like 48.
Yeah.
Minutes.
But it didn't feel like that.
Like,
but Martin, how good is Bernardo Silva? Honestly, how good is he? How good is Bernardo?
You know what? I thought Jack Grealish got a better when he came on.
He did.
No. I thought Grealish got better when Bernardo came on.
He did.
I thought Cole Palmer got a little bit better too.
Yeah,
I think it's just.
I think Bernardo forced Palmer to play a bit further forward and a little bit further right and overlap on Mahrez.
Yes, correct.
And he was at his most comfortable when he was on the overlap. When he was on the overlap with Mahrez, because again, as I said, it was like Rico didn't necessarily get many opportunities to go forward, probably because that Lewis Hall was just giving him a bit of a difficult time, which I thought he handled relatively well. But Palmer, any chance he had to get down to the right hand side and provide an overlap with Mahrez, that's where I felt like he was at his most comfortable in terms of going forward. As you said, Martin, I thought he played a good game. He played a good press, and he made it difficult for their midfield.
So Rico Lewis knows Hall pretty well, because I remember many games last year or year before in the academy where they played each other a couple of times, and I watched those games. I remember the Hall guy, and I remember Rico Lewis playing against him. So they know each other really, really well. Really well. So it's no surprise that it was a battle between the two on that side of the field.
Yeah.
Can I grab your opinions on? Can I be honest with you? This is why I always worry about youngsters, and this is why I always say let's take our time. Because Rico Lewis last week went from outstanding man of the match performance to tonight. I saw some fans like, "Ooh, not sure now. He's not as good tonight." And I'm like, "Hang on. do you want him to put on a Seville show every week at 18
exactly.
years old, 15 years old?
And he's playing against Chelsea.
17. He still can't get it. He still can't get in the nightclubs at Whitehall, mate. Come on.
This is what I mean. I'm like,
it's a different level.
This is why I don't like playing them so quick after each. This is why I look back and I think, and listen, I did the same thing. I went mad when Foden wasn't getting games. Went bonkers. Yeah. Even suggested he should have got out on loan, as the old joke was. But I look back and I think, Pep, you made the spot-on decision, because you can also go too quick with a youngster.
Do you think with Pep's thoughts on the younger players coming through the academy, or even younger players he signs?
I'll come to it. Go on,
do you think just with just your thoughts on how Pep treats our young players, both coming through the academy or even young players he signs? Do you think, because I'm sure when he signed for Manchester, when he decided he wanted to go to Manchester City, he obviously would have. He knows a lot about the history of English football. He knows a lot about the clubs. He knows a lot about the players that were there at the time when he signed. Do you think the way he saw Jack Wilshere burn out at such a young age, do you think that would be that could be used as an example or a factor in terms of like how he nurtures and develops the young players? Because what he sees in those young players is just like they have as much talent as what Jack Wilshere did when he was 17, 18 years old.
Also,
look what happened to him in such a short space of time.
I'd say Ramsey did the exact same thing when he came through Arsenal.
Yeah, that's worth a shout as well too. I think there is a Wilshere factor.
That's a great shout, Patrick.
In the way that he develops those players, he's just like, he may even say it to the players too. They might say, "I want more game time." He said, I'm protecting you because look what happened to a player that probably a lot of these young players may have even idolized in a way too. It said, "I want to be like this guy at this age," but then you go, "Yeah, but do you want to be like what he is now?"
There's a few players like that And now I'm gonna
burnt mid-20s burnouts. Yeah,
I don't know if you two remember this guy. Hopefully, you will. Other people in the comments do. I remember watching a young Damien Duff when he came through at Blackburn.
Yep. That's right. Yeah,
and I got told
he went to Chelsea at some point, didn't he?
This kid's a wonder kid. You'll love him. Best thing going. And I think, and he got his big move to Chelsea. You know, when he first got taken over by Roman Abramovich at the time, and he went, I think it was with Crespo and all them. And he just died. Not literally died, but he just literally, his career
fell off a cliff,
stopped.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a kid who's got too much too soon. Straight away, he's not learned the game. He's not learned how to play the game. He's played well in a few games for about a year, and everyone's jumped on the bandwagon, gone for a big move, and bang. Yeah. That's it. Because I keep saying it, as fans, and I think as players, we want everything yesterday. We don't have the patience to wait. I mean, our opponents tonight will tell you that. I've never met more impatient fans ever than Chelsea. Never met any more impatient fans than Chelsea. Kyle will tell you that. Jesus. Trust me now, Pep Guardiola would have took over at Chelsea like the first season he had at Chelsea, like he had with us, he wouldn't have been there.
No.
They'd have canned him.
100%.
So I think we have to realise as fans how special our board is.
Yeah. And we should know this because we're all Chelsea fans 10, 15 years ago.
They are Martin. They're absolutely special.
Well, apparently I was seen at Stamford Bridge 10 years ago, I got told, so never mind.
So yeah, I was too, and I was like, it's only an away seat ticket. It's like, I'll take it. It's all right. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it tonight. I thought it was a bit too. What's the word? Started out okay, but then when I'm not sure. Did they show the light show on TV? I don't know if they did. They brought out an inflatable blue moon and played opera music over it, and I'm like, it even misses went, what's this? What they doing now?
It sounds like something they do for an opening ceremony of a World Cup.
Yeah, that's what they kind of look like.
It comes out of like a floating frangipani or some shit like that.
Blue moon, big inflatable balloon, and then I'm like, and then the music went from opera to rock music, and I'm like, what? I know. I wasn't feeling it tonight. Keep it to Champions League. I wasn't feeling it tonight. I'm sorry. Right, let's get to some of the goals, and then we'll get on to Calvin Phillips. Riyad Mahrez. I put him as thumbnail tonight because did he have his best game? No. But do you know what with Mahrez? You got to sometimes just think, you know what? Is he just the kind of player who could play utter crap but just come up with an absolute worldie of a finish? And you go, where's that come from? Because what if KDB had done that tonight, we'd be waxing lyrical about it. Mendy didn't even move.
I mean, think about Mahrez. Mahrez is the kind of person where, you're abusing him, right? Because he's been terrible. Then he scores a world, you're like, MF, man. MF, man. Out of joy, because that's what he does to you, right? He can have these moments of just absolute cluelessness and then one moment of magic and bang, that's it. It was, I've been hard on Mahrez, and we've all been hard on Mahrez, but
you've been hard on Mahrez. And Grealish and Bellingham. He's not even here yet. No, I'm joking.
But that moment was just, when I stepped up to take a free kick, I was like, no, not you, mate. Get away from that. Move away from that. Give it to good one.
No matter how bad Mahrez is having a game, one thing that will never leave him is that first touch.
Yeah,
and it was proof. I mean, he could have put that free kick in the rosette, but he still would have made that first touch from that wide cross, that wide switch from Alvarez from left to right to feed it back to him. Well, I mean, he had a shot parried away by Mendy for Alvarez to put in the back of the net. But he still would have had that first touch. If he had an opportunity, even if he missed that free kick, he still would have had that first touch there to create that opportunity to score the second goal.
I just thought it was a phenomenal technique to get that ball up, over. And listen, we'd had a couple of sights in the first half of free kicks like that. That just nipped over the bar, and Chelsea stuck the 18-man wall up. As they always did, and Kovacic on a little lie down and a rest.
Yep.
It's so weird how that's now become a thing after the KDB goal against, was it Cardiff? And you go, oh, everyone started lying down.
Well, people forget that it was KDB against Cardiff, but you only have to go back a season before that, and KDB did one against Bournemouth.
Earlier in the season.
Yeah, he did it a season earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how quickly,
we've gone from games. I remember traveling to that Cardiff game, and never going to Cardiff ever again. It's too far. It took me forever and a day to drive back there. Anyway,
because I think just quickly off track, but I was going to say logistically, like for you guys, I think the two toughest away days to get to, just in terms of access, is Cardiff, and I believe Norwich is pretty close to one of the worst as well.
Or Ipswich, nightmare. No motorway, all B roads.
Oh, jeez,
nightmare.
Yeah,
you have to settle for Norwich 2 days before just to get there for kickoff. Listen, but Riyad Mahrez tonight, I've given him a lot of stake, but my word, what a free kick. And you're spot on with the first touch. I've always said he's got the best first touch in the club. He did it again tonight. There was a ball came over. What was it? Was it the Alvarez goal? Go back to the Alvarez goal. Was it Grealish or was it Alvarez who brought? One of them smacked the ball over.
Yeah, I think it was Alvarez who switched it. Yeah, and then
dead. Ball down, dead. In, Mendy saves it, and Johnny on the spot is there to score his third, fourth goal in a row. And just a little fact, by the way, we have two strikers now. One is scoring a goal every game. One is scoring a goal and a half every game.
Amazing. Yeah, that touch. Yeah, Martin, as from what you said, that touch on the TV, that looked like a first touch and a trapping of the ball at the same time. I don't know if that's possible, but it just
that's what he does.
Yeah. It was
Riyad's first touch is a delight to watch.
Yeah. I mean, Phil Foden's a close second.
Yeah, it's
I've learned
the way Phil's touch, he kind of cushions the ball down in the air, right? He has this way he just kind of brings it down.
Touch,
It's a joy to watch, man.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we talked about the second goal. We got the opener. Second goal, like I said, Alvarez, Johnny on the spot. And do you know what I love? I used to question about Sterling and Jesus at the time, and I thought, why we got rid? Because even though, yes, they had bad times, they were there. And then I saw tonight, Alvarez just mops everything up. And Alvarez is the kind of player who'll score from 5 yards out in an open net, and he scores 10 out of 10.
Yep.
With Jesus, you're like 6 out of 10, maybe. Sterling, maybe 2 out of 10. But you just, what you got now, you said it, Carl, you might not have as much, what's the word? You might not have as much sort of creativity in terms of flair and all that. But what you've got is two absolute killers.
Efficiency.
Reliability.
You have got killers.
Efficient. I mean, when I think about Leon, I think about Real Madrid last year at the Etihad. I think about the wastefulness that we had in front of goal. Then I think about what we have this year with Erling Braut Haaland and Julian Alvarez. The efficiency, Martin, is just insane. It's insane. So think about this. Both of them have scored how many goals now? Erling has 23 goals now, so, and then Julian has 6 goals. So almost 30 goals between both of them in all the games we played so far this season.
I'm hoping Haaland gets fit because he's going to end up going down to a goal a game if he's not careful.
It's insane. The efficiency, the ruthlessness.
21 Martin, referring to what you were saying. Sorry, Martin, referring to what you were saying, where if 5 yards out, Alvarez would bag 10 out of 10. Let's be honest, about 7 or 8 of those 10 out of 10 would be the roof of the net because he loves it. He loves a roof of the net shot. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't. I'm still not there. I'm still not the Carl on there. He's the new Aguero. I'm not there yet.
No, I'm not. No, I didn't say. No, I didn't say that, Martin. I didn't say it was. It's
No,
not
I know
me.
what you
No,
meant. He's as good a finisher as Aguero. I get what you mean.
no, it's not.
He's got a bit more of an attacker's utility knife sort of feel to him.
What impressed me about
he can
him was
provide for attacking midfield, but he can also bomb forward
right.
like a striker. He's got a little bit Paulo Dybala in a way.
Oh, go on then, Carl. I'll let you
Yeah.
I was fortunate to watch him for about a year at River Plate, and what you're seeing now, Martin, from Alvarez, is what I saw all year with him at River Plate. His movement on and off the ball, his finish in front of goal, how he brings his teammates in, his pressing is brilliant. Now, is he Aguero level? No, but it's 21, and he will grow. The Alvarez we see now is not the finished article under Pep. He's going to get better.
No.
Haaland is going to get better, and that's a fearful proposition for the rest of the league. That's fearful.
That's scary. That's scary.
Let's look at it now, right? We got Alvarez for what, 14 million pounds.
Yeah.
If for any reason we were to sell him at the end of the season, based on the sort of numbers he's got now and what he would continue for the rest of the season, how much would we sell him for?
Oh, 70. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
In one season, we've effectively quadrupled his price.
Easy 70.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe he's now unsaleable. I don't even think. I don't think you can put a price on him.
Yeah,
I think he's now unsaleable.
Pep won't sell him.
Was it you, Martin, who said, I think on a previous show, that you think that Alvarez is possibly City's 10-year project, given the fact that Haaland may want to go and do a bit of Euro globe, Euro trotting around Europe for the rest of his career?
You spot on. I
don't want it to happen, but I think that might be City's intentions. Yeah.
If Haaland is here for a good time and not a long time, I can live with that. Because I know Alvarez is there for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I genuinely believe with a brand new contract coming in, there's going to be a brand new world record sponsorship deal for Erling Haaland about to be announced. That's come out from his management thing tonight.
Correct.
And also, a certain best friend of his looks like he's about to step through the door in the summertime. Erling Haaland signs a brand new contract in the summer, and we say bye-bye to the release clause.
It's possible, mate. Seriously.
This football club.
Seducing.
I keep saying this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to sound so emotional. I'm going to go back to some emotional Mark in a minute. This football club is like no other football club around the world. This fan base is like no other fan base around the world. And the reason we get so pissed off and angry when we get attacked is because to us, this is not about trophies. This is not about success. This is not about everything. Like I said, we're the only football club ever in the world to get relegated twice and extend the stadium. That is just unheard of. Extend the stadium for more people, the shitter we got. As Rob once said on air, the shitter we got, the more people wanted to come and watch.
Yeah.
That is unheard of. This football club is so special that when players arrive, we got told Aguero, David Silva were all disappearing. This was a stepping stone to Real Madrid. It was a stepping stone to Barcelona. They were here for 10 years. Not so much, but the others were. Company was going to Barcelona every single year. This football club grabs a hold of you and don't let go.
Well, Martin, seeing as you just got out the world's smallest violin, I'm going to provide a little bit of a string quartet here, because it's still the 20-year anniversary for you, given your side of the world being the 9th of November. But obviously yesterday was 20. Well, yesterday for me was 20 years to the day when I watched my first ever live City match, albeit on TV. I'll give that. But that was the day that sort of set me down the yellow and black hacienda wormhole of sky blue joy and despair. And I posted a bit of a long-winded sort of post on our MCFC Sydney Facebook page, which anybody here in the chat is more than welcome to join. We're always up for a chinwag about all things blue. But that sort of what started it for me. I remember watching the game even as a 16-year-old, because the game was on, was kicked off before midnight. So I was inside my curfew with my mum and dad used to have placed on me as a teenager. But I'll never forget, we watched the game, with this, with the massive big wide TVs, but they were as fat at the back as they were wide at the front. And I'll never forget the sound of the crowd when Anelka scored the first goal and when Goda poached the ball off Neville to make it 2-0. The sound from that crowd, and I'll never forget turning to my mate's dad, who was massive blue, born and raised in Manchester and everything. I said to him, I go, when was the last time your club won a trophy? And he said, it's 26 years this year. And I said, and you still cheer like that? And he said, you should have heard it. You should have heard it when we were two divisions down about 5 years ago. And I just remember thinking to myself, it's just like, that's something I can get on board with. I mean, it was more than just a coincidence. It's like I grew up as a kid, my sky blue was my favorite color. I religiously listened to Oasis, and even for the record too, we had a short little Australian lad with a temper as short as a bee's knob, in Mr. Danny Tiato. So that was, the signs were always there for me to become a blue. And as the years progressed and that, you learnt more about the club, you learnt more about the fans, where they come through. And the fact of the matter is, we always stayed humble, whether it was selling Sean Wright Phillips just to keep the club afloat to now obviously about to build a bloody hotel inside our stadium. The fans have always stayed humble, and we know how to weed out those that are not. We know the pretenders from the senders, and that's what makes this club so special. I'll give you guys a minute.
Goosebumps because I remember that day. I remember actually. No, just a quick one. I know it's totally off. I remember shitting myself when I heard Lucy and Matomo and Gerard Vikings were starting at the back.
And it was probably their best performance in a blue shirt. They were unbelievable.
Hey, it was great. Yeah.
I still remember Mark Vivian Folway running around the midfield too. God, I miss him.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
What a player. Gone far too soon. Too soon. And can I just say, back to my point of this is why Haaland won't go anywhere. To me, he ain't going.
There's a word, Martin. There's a word that Guardiola uses a lot when he talks about bringing players in and how he feels about the club. It's a word that he uses called seduction.
Yeah.
Right. That we want to seduce them, right, to stay at the club. And that seduction is not just about some weird, sexual intent. It's about the fans, the environment, the family feel, the way the players are, the mentality of the players, how they behave. It's all part of the seduction. That's what it is.
Yeah, and you know what? It's great. Calvin Phillips, an absolute roaring ovation when he came on.
Yeah, I love that ovation. You think he was one of our own? It was brilliant.
Well, we'll talk about Sterling as well in a minute. I had an argument with someone within the stadium, actually. Martin made friends this evening.
Which one was it today? The one to your left or the one to your right? Or 2 rows back or 2 rows forward?
People behind me. I made friends.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned them before.
I made friends. Let's put it that way. Calvin Phillips, I thought, was exceptional. He moves the ball so effortlessly across the grass. And he's going to be like a brand new signing.
Brand new signing, Martin.
Listen, he's going to be the best signing of January. He just walks in the door. Thank you very much.
And with the game time, you're playing Qatar as well too. It's like he's come back from a summer break, summer fresh. It'd be summer fresh. It'd be
yeah. It was. He was great. Bernardo, like Carl said, exceptional. Alvarez, great. It was Grealish for me. Just picked Ortega to man of the match, and I just thought Grealish was outstanding tonight. Gomez, great going forward. I'm sorry, absolute shit defensively. I'm gonna say it, but he was. But he's learning. I'll give him that. Rico Lewis did okay. Was not on the level he was. Cole Palmer ran his bollocks off, and he just simply. Did he have the skills that he could do? No. But did he have the fight to win the ball back for an 18, 19-year-old lad? Damn right.
It was a gritty performance. It was gutsy. It was a gritty performance. Yeah, he put
I just came away from that tonight really happy. Enjoyed it. I was like, enjoyed that. That was a proper football game tonight. It wasn't just 10 men parking behind the ball and Chelsea. Chelsea had to go even with their limitations on their team.
Yep. Martin, it was popcorn football.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought
you could put your feet up and eat a bag of popcorn like you're at the movies.
Great
It was really
spectacle
good.
for the Carabao Cup tonight, I thought.
Yep.
To put it bluntly.
Which means we'll probably play Liverpool in the next round.
Someone asked, did Sterling get a good reception? To my story of the argument tonight, then. I was in two minds of what I was going to do tonight when he came on. I thought, I was annoyed at his comments. And then I thought to myself, no, players make silly mistakes. They make silly mistakes. Jack Grealish was on Twitter saying how Manchester City have no fans. But we're now all cheering him. Do you know, some players just make silly errors. But
Kyle
then I
Walker.
look back, yeah, Kyle Walker, I know he did not have a great 18 months when he left, I know. But he scored over 100 goals. Some massive, important goals for us. And I have clapped people back that have had a worse City career than him. So I couldn't boo tonight. I just couldn't. And you know what? There was a few who started booing. There was a few that started booing.
I heard a few boos as well.
But the cheers drowned them.
Yep.
All from the South Stand.
Yep. Drowned
them out.
Yep. In our pub, because we had obviously Liverpool playing at the same time. In our pub, we share it with Liverpool, unfortunately. There was a couple of boos and that, and I remember one of the guys turned around and said, like, we're not like them, like, and of course they all turned around and just like didn't say anything, but it was just we're not like them, like that's what separates us from them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said we're not them. Don't do it. If anyone knows what them are, it's them down the M62 and them over the road at the swamp. We ain't them. We're not that fan base. Come on.
Nope.
Listen, I listen, but I understand why fans did boo. I do get it because they're defending their football club.
Yep.
Because they feel as though Sterling has done their football club wrong in the comments. I have gone back, I read the comments, and I just genuinely feel I think that was more of a pop at Pep than it was the football club.
It's the same with Yaya Toure when he left too.
I think that was more of a pop at Pep from Sterling than it was the football club.
It was a similar story with Yaya Toure, but Yaya Toure expressed it in a way that his issue was more with Pep. It was never really with the club. So anytime Yaya's come back to the club,
Yaya Toure got a standing ovation when he came back with Sky.
Yep.
And he said a lot worse.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Don't think anyone booed. They did, mate. I was there. There was boos.
It was good that they were drowned out. I'm glad to hear that.
Which is fine. I'm not going to say they shouldn't have done it. That's but you pay your money, you're allowed an opinion. That's the simple facts of it. Okay. Manchester City then. We have 1-2-0. The other results have come in tonight. And what has basically happened, if anyone doesn't know, Arsenal are gone. Brighton beat them 3-1. Newcastle
Martin, can we just talk about how good Brighton are under De Zerbi? And just don't forget, Brighton have beaten tied with Liverpool, beaten Arsenal, beaten Chelsea, came to the Etihad and had more possession and almost got away with it. Right, so this is
in about 3 years.
They're definitely under the radar. They're silent achievers, that's for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, Martin.
No. You're spot on. Brighton are a very dangerous team. And I understand why Brighton fans are pissed off at the moment because they feel like they're having the heart and soul ripped out. But what I like at the moment is their new manager's building that heart and soul back in his own image. So I do like that. It's just a shame that I probably know that there will be one or two that will probably leave Brighton and end up at Chelsea. Because that will be Potter's excuse that of I need my own boys in to get this Chelsea team back. So I just feel like your Trossard, your Lamptey, your possibly Casado are going to end up in the blue of Chelsea. Might not be what Chelsea fans want because they're not the Rolex players they want. But if you want to hire a manager like that, you have to let him do his role. His role is not fancy damn players.
Yeah, Martin, the right. I think the evidence is clear there too. Obviously, with Potter now at Chelsea, is you get this sense now with Brighton and Chelsea is going to be similar to what we saw with Southampton and Liverpool a few years ago. Sense of a little bit of a feeder club system going on there.
Yeah.
Could happen. But at the same time too, it's what I respect about Brighton as a club, the way that they run too, is obviously Potter had them playing a style of football that was effective in the Premier League. They've got a club, they've got a culture in the club there, they've got a system, they've got ownership, they've got a investment that is certainly strong enough for them to be not necessarily competing, but be a stalwart or just be a solid Premier League outfit team for at least the next 10 years. Now, with Potter leaving, I'm sure there would have been some question marks saying, like, oh, where are they going to find this? Where are they going to find the form on the field and that too? But I think what makes their club so good is their recruitment, and not just in players, but also in the fact that they signed a manager that did a similar thing to what Brighton have done over the last few years when he was at Sassuolo with De Zerbi. He's taken them from being, I think they were effectively a yo-yo club between Serie A and Serie B, to now being this consistent outfit that does perform well. They if you look at their form in the Serie A, they do like it's an Italian Brighton. They do. They consistently perform well. They ruffle the feathers of the established clubs in Italy as well too, and they're always constantly just knocking on the door of Europe. So what they're doing is they're following a similar culture. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few years ago when they probably thought about Graham Potter, they said, yeah, he's going to be going to a bigger club in the next few years. They probably would have already had a top 5 list, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Zerbi was in that top 5.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. That is a good shout.
Yeah, no, it is. But just on that then, so Brighton are through, Newcastle are through, Tottenham are gone. I'm still on with my bet of Conte gone because I think it'll happen.
That's incredible.
Was it Conte gone by the end of the season?
That was a full team. That was a very strong Tottenham team that played.
They started Kane and played him for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Southampton beat Sheffield Wednesday on penalties. Blackburn won at West Ham, showing West Ham can't win 2 penalty shootouts 2 years on the run. Wolves are through, beating Leeds 1-0. That's probably a major shock for me. I don't know what the teams were, but Leeds are on quite a decent run at the moment. Liverpool scraped a 3-2 penalty win at home to Derby, and obviously Manchester City beat Chelsea.
Burnley.
Last night, there was, where is it? I'll just get that up. Last night, AFC Bournemouth beat Everton, Lincoln beat Bristol City, Burnley beat Crawley, Leicester beat Newport, Milton Keynes beat Morecambe, Charlton went through, beating Stevenage, and Gillingham beat Brentford. So Charlton Athletic are now the only London team left.
And United.
Competition. And United, but they may go tomorrow.
Yeah,
they may go tomorrow.
Who wants Burnley in the next round? Because Vincent Kompany, we love him so much that he deserves a second testimonial.
I would love that. That would be class.
I'd love it.
It'd be brilliant. It would just be smiles and laughs the whole time. Like everybody would spend more time watching Pep and Vinny on the sideline than they probably would the game.
I think it would for us. For Company, I don't think it would.
No. From a fan's perspective, from a Blues perspective, it would be just a lot of fun.
Company. Do you ever remember Uwe Rosler when he come back with Wigan in the FA Cup?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm there to do my job. And he come and he beat us. And then he went away. And he said afterwards, it was the most painful experience of my life beating Manchester City on their own patch. He said it hurt him, but he had a job to do. I think exactly the same a Company. I think he would come and he would want to win at all costs.
Yeah.
So I would love Burnley for the romantic point. I wouldn't actually want them because I know the guy would want to win more than anything.
Yeah.
Maybe them in the final. Take them in a final. But no, don't want them in there. We'll find out tomorrow night live. We will be live while the draw happens. So you will find out first and fast. I might even just put the draw on the TV, turn the sound off, and we'll literally do the draw live at 10 o'clock.
I'd like that. If we can.
Right
I like
here
that.
live.
Yeah, I like that if we can do that.
I just think it'd add a little bit of some extra to the Thursday night chat.
Is everybody hoping for a potentially lower league or weaker opposition, given the fact that the fixture is going to be played, or the first fixtures for the next round will be played roughly 48 hours after the World Cup final is concluded? Because I said before, I think on the Champions League draw show, and I think I said it on our early bird show, it does worry me just the fact that the next round we could be facing a tough Premier League opposition, and look, there is every opportunity that we could have a Portugal facing Belgium in the final. And if that's the case, there goes half our defense in midfield.
I'd love an
and
easy
we won't see him
team.
until early to mid-January.
Are we hoping United win tomorrow when we get them?
No.
You said you wanted an easy team.
Yeah, I want an easy team. I don't want a London team.
No, listen. I'm with Muddy Duck. I want Gillingham. For nostalgia.
Yeah. Gillingham away or Gillingham at home? Because Gillingham's not ideal midweek away.
No, there won't be any copyright, Sean, because I don't mean showing it. I'd literally just put it on like a watch along and just turn the sound off. I wouldn't show it you live. I'll just tell you what the draw is as it's happening. I'm not getting copyrighted, no chance. But thank you for the concern, mate. I just want to win this competition, and it sounds daft. I want to win it. I enjoy this competition because I think that final in February, March, whenever it is this year, it gives you that boost into the last run of the season. And it gives you that spark to lift that trophy so early, to win the first major trophy of the season, gives you that kick on for the rest of the season. And every time we've won it, we've gone on to it and just bang. It kicks us on. And I love a little Wembley trip down February, March time. I love it. So, and I think this does hold a special place to the club. Four times in a row. Only ever been done once before. So, I think I would love it. It just all depends. Before we go, very, very quickly, I just want to get your very final thoughts on this, and we are going to wrap up. Carl, I'll start with you. What's going on with Stockport and Iniesta?
I don't think anything is. I think he's going to be rested for tomorrow, for this weekend.
He's been rested the last 3 games, though.
Maybe Pep wants to get Jack some minutes. Maybe he wants to get Jack and Mahrez some minutes, get them in form. Maybe that's the reason. He knows Phil. He knows Phil's good. He knows Phil can do the job. Big games are going to play Phil, but maybe he wants Jack and Mahrez to get back and forth, which they did tonight.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah. I'm of the opinion, Pat. I'm not sure if he's carrying a bit of a niggle, as Pep likes to call it.
Could be.
And he's saving him for a World Cup.
It could be.
There's a possibility of that. It's nothing beyond, possibly anything tactical. We can't think there's any sort of falling out between him and Pep because
I'm not saying that.
You wouldn't even see his name on the bench.
Well,
yeah.
The only reason I'm asking is he's not started the last 3 Premier League games, and then he didn't start tonight. So he didn't start tonight, and he's not starting in the Premier League. That's why I'm thinking, is there a slight niggle somewhere?
To be fair, Marty, if you watch Phil, he hasn't been sprinted off as he used to last season. He's kind of been more reserved and more controlled. There was a moment in the last game against Fulham where he could have run a little quicker. He chose not to. And maybe it's that World Cup that's coming. Look at Sadio Mane, for example, right? He misses the World Cup. And so it's no surprise that.
Didn't Pep say something about that as well? Pep did say, didn't he? He said, I'll be able to tell which players and holding back.
Yeah.
And not quite. And I'm just wondering, is Phil like you just said there, Carl, as Pep noticed Phil's holding back. And he's like, I don't want to be injured for the World Cup. And Pep's gone, all right, you don't want to be injured. Fine, just won't play you, mate. We'll wrap you in cotton wool ourselves. Do you know what I mean? I just think Pep never says anything without it being intentional. That's not Pep. And for Pep to say, I'll be able to tell if some players are holding back for the World Cup. I just wonder if that's, maybe that's why Phil is. And do you know what? We'll probably find out in about 2 weeks. It'll all come out.
Sorry, Carl, I was just going to say, is there a reason, or is there a discussion then to possibly put John Stones in the same conversation too? Albeit the only difference is he's been able to get a little bit more game time because of the lack of depth at right back. If Kyle Walker was fit and Cancelo, didn't have to play out on the left-hand side so much, would John Stones be in the same boat as Phil Foden? I mean, the only other reason I'd suggest John Stones too is he is a bit more susceptible to an injury than what Phil is.
Perhaps. I did notice today that Laporte went off at 65 minutes. That was,
by the way, he was one of the best on the pitch too, Laporte. I thought
that was probably a World Cup preservation. He's probably trying to preserve him for the World Cup and not overplay him this game.
Yep.
He probably is, especially because he plays for Spain as well. And they need him. They're not playing Garcia back there for Spain.
Oh God. I mean, Pat, are you not wanting me to tempt the fate on that? The two players you just mentioned, the two players that didn't go to America and the two players that haven't had the COVID jabs. But no. Anyway, no, I'm not going down that road. Anyway, sorry. Just when I hear them two names together, I think, yeah, Pep wasn't happy with you two in the summertime. Listen, no, I don't think it is anything to do with that. I think it is probably just tactical. And you know what? I think it's probably natural. I think there probably is one or two players that have said, boss, I'm going to be in the England. I was listening to it tonight. We've just had a cup competition 10 days before the start of the World Cup. Or before they go out. It's like, that's madness. That's total madness. That we've just had a competitive cup game and then a league game a week before they all head off out. And you're like, that's mad. That's crazy.
Let's hope it never happens again.
This is unprecedented times we're in. These managers must be sat there going, just cancel the Premier League this weekend. I don't want it. They must be sat there.
There's a reason why they agreed before the season that no top six clubs will play each other in the last.
I think that's why Brazil have put Dani Alves in just in case something goes belly up at some point. We'll have a 39-year-old in. He plays in Mexico. It's all right. In you come. That's just crazy.
Patrick, the only problem, Patrick, is for Chelsea is now Newcastle, because the assumption was that they would be, bottom half of the table and struggling. And here we are.
But whoever was head of that meeting obviously forgot that Mike Ashley was long gone. Wouldn't it be funny if he wanted to buy Liverpool?
Yeah, let's not start the Liverpool stuff back.
Oh God!
All I've heard for days is they're getting bought out by Arab money. They're getting bought out by oil. They're not even up for sale.
Martin, I have to run. Patrick, I have to run.
Yes, we're going to shoot now. Carl, thank you. Right, you join us tomorrow, Carl, for our
we'll do.
Thursday night chats. But yes,
all right.
Big thank you to Carl. Go over to Pitch Points, True City Fan, Vader Games TV, and Adam as well on Twitter. Show them all a lot of love. Give them a like, give them a follow, please, everyone. And Patrick, big thank you for coming on, buddy.
Thanks,
Where can they find you?
Early Bird Podcast. That's Facebook, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can also get in touch with us because we are affiliated to the official supporters club for Manchester City fans in Sydney, Australia. That's on Facebook at MCFC Sydney and Instagram at mcfc.sydneyblues. always welcome to come in and have a chat if you want to get involved with our podcast too. We will be recording the next one this time tomorrow, so that should be out a few hours after. So keep an eye and an ear out for that, of course. And we will be getting Martin on for probably for an end of half season or an official half season show before the World Cup break, and then we'll probably get him on for a Christmas trivia at some point in December too.
I'm not very good on trivia shows.
That's why we're getting you on, mate. We just need someone to fill up numbers.
Thank you, England, UK. Appreciate it. No, but thank you. Go and give the early birds. They're on. I'll put it in the description. They're in Spotify, SoundCloud, Facebook. Please go over and give the Apple. What's it called? Apple
Podcast.
Apple Podcast. Go and get. Are you on Google Podcasts? So.
No, not yet. That's the only 3 we got so far, and but Danny will be looking to.
Can I just say,
most tech savvy of the trio? He'll be getting us on the ball.
Danny,
Jeff,
Pat. Who's the other ones?
I just said it,
Jeff, and we do loan them Rich from time to time. Well, I don't know. I feel like they're going to loan us Rich soon. Who's Rich? We don't know who he is anymore.
Big question now. Where is Rich?
Where is Rich? Listen, no, Pat will tell you he's absolutely swamped with work at the moment.
Yeah, he's on the pump.
So he is going to be. He's on business trips at the minute. It's a very busy time of the year for Rich in his line of work.
Yeah.
But Rich will be back next week at some point. He's not here tomorrow, but he will be back next week here on the Mancunian Way. Yeah. But yes, big thank you to them. Go and give the Early Birds podcast a lot of love. They do plug this channel. They do support us as a channel as we do support them. They're basically the same as us, but in podcast form. You will get the same humour, the same chat.
And a different hemisphere.
Everything. But they are top lads. You need to go and show them a lot of love. Please go over. They've got a back catalogue of about 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, shows. They've been going for over a year now. It is really, really good. Go and show them a lot of love. And also, if you are watching and you are in the Sydney area, go and give the Sydney supporters branch a lot of love, and the Melbourne branch as well. Every branch over there, they do love.
Yep, we've got the Saturday night kickoff. Any match that's on at 12:30 on a Saturday in the UK is normally a Saturday night shiny disco balls game for us, as we like to call them. So if you're in the Sydney area, be sure to get down to Cheers on Saturday night. It's Cheers Bar at 561 George Street, right in the heart of the city. We'll be down there from early, obviously cheering on and looking funny at anybody in a red shirt.
I thought Alec was saying this show's only worth about 4 minutes. Cheers, Alec. You meant the game. Peace, Sahabe. Listen, on your way out, because I know not everyone's doing this, please smash that like button. Please share it around. Please, I'm begging. I am begging. I've got the begging ball out now. Please hit that subscribe. Share it around. That'd be amazing. We have anyone who's subscribed lately, big thank you. We are 124 away from 1,000. That is it. 124. A little old number to hit that 1K. And trust me, it will open up so much more. Stick around on the Mancunian Way. We are back tomorrow at 9 p.m. with Thursday night chat. We are going to be talking Jude Bellingham. We are going to be talking all about Manchester City's fan base. Home and abroad, old and new. Why is there a split? How do we stop the split? And how do we bridge this gap? We're finally going to do it. And hopefully we can get some great guests on. Bater's coming on. Carl's coming on. Pat, he's going to be flying out, you mate, so you won't be around.
No, mate. No, early birds have got to work.
Yeah,
mate.
he's doing an early bird.
We need to get a pod in. Yeah,
he's doing an early bird. There'll be loads. There's loads. Ozzy's back. There'll be loads tomorrow. It'll be a great show. Plus, we'll have a little bit of Brentford chat as well. Yeah, and then then we'll have a post match at some point on Saturday as well. So loads on, and we've got some fresh ideas coming up for the World Cup, including we are going to bring FIFA back. Martin playing FIFA or or Football Manager. I haven't quite decided yet. Football Manager or FIFA. I haven't decided. I'm going to put it out on a community post or a tweet and the Mancunian way community can decide which one we're going to do. Plus, we're going to have a quiz night as well while we are on the World Cup break. We're going to have a Manchester City quiz night, and Pat, I'm going to get in. We're going to get everybody in, and we're literally just going to grab yourselves a drink, and we're going to have a couple of hours of good Manchester City chat and questions. Who is the most knowledgeable Manchester City fan out there? Is it the old? Is it the new? Is it the young? Is it the old? We'll find out during the World Cup. I'm going to go away and do some swatting now. Anyone doesn't know what swatting means, it just means...
No, mate. You keep it to yourself.
No, it just means revision.
Right.
Am I late? Yes, you are, Blue Art, but you know I love you. Please catch it on the rerun. Please. Thank you. We're back tomorrow, Blue Art, 9 p.m. Take care. Love you all. Have a great, great evening. 9 p.m. tomorrow. And go and subscribe to the Early Birds. Take care.
In a bit, Blues.